Almost everyone, almost everywhere, will know at once what this is. It's the jungle, and they've seen it on the movies or television from New Zealand to Siberia. Perhaps a few people watching the animals might take it for a zoo, and they would be right too. For this is the zoo in a jungle, the National Zoological Park of Malaysia at Ulu Klang, just outside the city of Kuala Lumpur. The children love the zoo, and gradually it is building up a collection of animals not only from Malaysia, but from India, Ceylon, Burma, Sumatra, Java, Thailand, Australia and Arabia. But at the moment, there aren't very many from Africa. In one corner of the zoo, a new building is going up. And it doesn't take the children long to spot that it is, for any of the animals they've ever seen, rather a peculiar shape. Abdul Rahman, the deputy head keeper, supervising work on the new house, hears a continuous murmur from his audience behind the fence. It must be a very tall animal. A very tall animal. A very, very tall animal. In all the languages and dialects of Malaysia. But Abdul isn't talking yet, though he knows what the new house is for, and he knows too that soon he will be flying 5,000 miles to fetch its new tenant from the faraway country of Kenya in East Africa. There was a considerable turnout of top brass to see Abdul off, both from the Zoological Society and from the company which is presenting the new acquisition to the zoo and arranging the whole trip.
Passengers traveling on flight EC 330 to Mombasa and Nairobi.
Abdul Rahman has never been out of his country before, and now, half a mile up in the black night above the Indian Ocean, he feels a thrill of excitement that soon he will actually see the strange and beautiful creatures that he has studied in every book and picture he could find. Over Africa, the sun is rising. In Nairobi, there is an international airport party, just as there was in Kuala Lumpur. Only this time, no zoologists. In Kenya, it was all businessmen and cheerful efficiency. But everyone was very friendly and reassuring. But Africa is different from Malaysia. The country is wider and more open between the trees. And the shadows seem shorter, though they can't be, as Kuala Lumpur and Nairobi sit, each on its own side of the equator, like neighbors across the village street. But Nairobi is certainly no village, in spite of being a good deal younger than Kuala Lumpur. After a night in town, Abdul's hosts took him out to the game farm where the giraffe catching expedition is to be mounted, and which is, by any standards, a remarkable place. The Carr-Hartley family, father and sons, spend their lives catching wild animals and getting them used to living at close quarters with men. There's not much glitter about the place, but they understand animals here and know how to care for them. A solitary Maasai herdsman, decorated with red ochre and leaning on his razor-sharp spear, is a reminder of the ancient Africa beyond the new cities and the airports. He also knows where the game is, which is more to the point, because now the great safari is on, and somewhere out there among the uncounted animals of the plain, there will be what we've come 5,000 miles to find. For a young man from far away with an interest in animals, this is a wonderful experience. And Abdul's camera is whizzing the pictures through as if he was making a movie. And the children in Kuala Lumpur are going to love every single one of them. And there they are, looking very much the way they do in books, dignified, beautiful, and from their little mushroom horns to their neat cow's feet, quite weird. The technique of catching a galloping giraffe unharmed is, say the experts, quite simple. You just fix a lasso-like noose to the end of a long stick and drop it over his head. A giraffe in a hurry touches 40 miles an hour, and there are plenty of rocks, termite hills, and nice deep holes in the ground. If this form of motoring looks fairly unsafe, it's probably because it is, and in the hands of less expert drivers could be positively lethal. That's the first one. But they need a companion for it in Kuala Lumpur, so off we go again. Once a giraffe has been caught, it suddenly abandons any attempt at resistance and takes an unceremonious bundling into a truck quite philosophically. This philosophical streak enables them to get up as soon as their feet are untied and start munching as if absolutely nothing had happened. According to Carr Hartley, giraffes like everything, including onions, which they can hardly have met in the wild. But their favorites are acacia leaves and hay, both happily available in Malaysia. Tomorrow is to be the last day in Africa for Abdul Rahman and his giraffes. So everybody gets together in the evening for a farewell chat. What, says somebody, are you going to call them? This question sums up Abdul's new situation. He's no longer looking for something, he's found it. And from now on, the giraffes are his responsibility. On the 15th of March, they loaded the giraffes on the Chibanchet in Mombasa Harbour. At this 11th hour, Abdul asked Carr Hartley for any final tips for the voyage. Don't worry, he was told, what will be, will be. To this piece of philosophy was added a more practical recommendation to give each animal 10 seasick pills powdered up in their food, which in fact worked perfectly. There is an old story of a giraffe that traveled by sea to China a long, long time ago. But these are the first of these lovely creatures ever to be brought to Malaysia. From all over the country, people will come to see them. They will be wondered at, admired and loved, not only for their strangeness, but for their gentle, melancholy manners that so clearly wish ill neither to man or beast. It's impossible to tell just what was going on under that impenetrable cloak of dignity. But the giraffes seemed to enjoy the trip. At least it's certain that they took an active interest in shipboard routine. Could it be that they, the main curiosities of the voyage, found their fellow passengers and their activities just a bit amusing? The first light of the rising sun had not even begun to cast shadows behind the godowns of Port Swettenham when the ship nosed into harbour. For Abdul, the sights and sounds of home. For his passengers, who knows what new scents drifting across the water from the distant jungles of Selangor. From Port Swettenham to Kuala Lumpur is no great journey in terms of distance, but for the giraffes it was crowded with new sights, from the rubber plantations to the busy streets of the Malaysian capital. At the zoo gates, the whole staff turned out to welcome what rapidly became a triumphal progress, to which the zoo's animals also gave a noticeable, if rather more mixed reception. And last of all, the children.
They're coming!
The two new giraffes in Kuala Lumpur may not be a very big part of the important business of one corner of the world getting to know a little more about another. But they are part, as Abdul Rahman knows, and the businessmen in Nairobi, and perhaps even the tall Maasai with his long spear. And for the children at least, their very first idea about the legendary creature from far away is confirmed beyond a doubt. It is a very tall animal, or rather, they are.